open up the thing. Okay, somebody posted a link to the QR code, so hopefully that helps. If you guys have any issues, just let us know. We will be sure to make sure everybody gets in before. Okay, I see more people scanning in, so I think that link might have helped. So thank you guys in the chat for helping us out, and good luck to everybody out there getting yourself a free case. I hope it goes to a loving home.
I hope everyone wins.
I hope everybody gets a case.
If you're listening, I hope you win.
You're the one.
Gosh, I am pulling for everybody. Well, look at this. We are off. I'm really excited for this matchup. Not only are these two colors that we've been talking a lot about, we're obviously going on and on about Amethyst, Emerald, and here we get to watch one of these decks. But I am excited that we get to see Stefen in front of the camera instead of behind the camera.
Absolutely, yeah. Stefen doing great out there today. We were kind of joking with him before the event because he had submitted his deck list, but didn't even have the cards available. I mean, had to scramble around the store pretty much during the player meeting to complete his deck list. But surely it's doing pretty well. He is 2-0 in the event so far, rocking Amber Steel, which he's no stranger to. He did make some adjustments to his list, but he is definitely an Amber Steel aficionado. And then we have Jose with Emerald Amethyst, which is really interesting. Jose is a local here. He usually plays Sapphire, Emerald Sapphire, like the Bend to My Will style decks. Jose is really known for kind of playing that kind of deck. So interesting to see him 2-0 here with Emerald Amethyst. And, as an Emerald Amethyst enjoyer, I'm really excited to see what he's cooking here. I would have to guess most likely we're going to be seeing some lever action here, considering that card is very, very powerful. And we are starting off with the shiniest card ever.
I think that's a Cinderella. Yeah. Everyone challenges casters here.
Literally just rays of light. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's also Cinderella
it's
there.
So shiny.
Yeah, it's a big one.
And over to the other side for that Pegasus, that 1/1 evasive by Brian Weiss.
Yeah, Brian Weiss. Your wife and I were just talking about Brian Weiss. So he is amazing, and he drew Flounder as well, which I love. So yeah, shout out to Brian Weiss. And it's always scary to run out this one drop into the face of a Cindy, right? Mm-hmm. You're always wondering, are they going to just remove it? And
it looks like that might. There it is. That's the combo you hate to run into. Sometimes you got to play it and ask them to have it. And they're Stefen with like the classic Steel Song opening.
They always have it. They always have it. It's I never see them not have it.
And combined into a turn 2 Smee, great opening here for this color combo. Jose a little bit on the back foot now, losing that early Pegasus, but we'll follow it with the Merfolk. Might have had that in the hand turn 1 and probably drawing out that Let the Storm Rage On into the Pegasus and then playing his more aggressive card here.
For sure.
Maybe the only play he has on this turn, but indicating he wants to be the beat down here, try to push the lore total. Stefen saying, though, answering with the daisy, saying, I'm not going to let you push the lore total. Here, I'm dropping down 4 lore on this turn, and now we have 7 lore represented. That's a lot.
That is definitely a lot. It's going to be a quick game here for Jose if he's not able to establish some defense and get some of these characters off the board. Problem is, this Mr. Arrow's got resist, so that's going to be tricky. This Daisy has 4 defense, so these things are not just going to fall over very easily. And with this Cursed Merfolk being the only thing on the table, that 0 power is not going to really do much for us here. Okay, Kick Cloud Kicker will help us out a bit here as we get that Daisy back in the hand, and we'll get in for 2. So hopefully we get to snag a card out of Stefen's hand next turn. We will see, but we pass it back over to Stefen, who still has quite a lot of lore to get in there for 5 lore potentially here. So Stefen's still in the driver's seat for the time being.
Yeah, so interesting choice bouncing the Daisy there. I mean, you get that out again for 1, but it is uninkable as opposed to bouncing the Mr. Arrow, sending that back. 2 lore either way. Speaking of Mr. Arrow, there he is again. What's the plural of Mr. Arrow?
Mr. Arrows.
Meister Arrows.
Arrows.
And then you have 2 daisies as well. So just going completely wide here. And if there's one thing that Amethyst Emerald has trouble dealing with, it's wide boards. There are always scenarios where you've worked an Under the Sea into this deck.
Sure.
You don't usually see it in this color combo, but it's possible. Other than that, though, you're really working on bounce-based removal or damage-based removal, trying to get an Elsa down or a Fox or something with Rush. And just not a lot of tools to deal with this wide board. So it's a challenge.
For sure, yeah. And even if we are playing Under the Sea as some wacky tech option, I mean, how much ink are we going to need or characters in play? I mean, we don't have a lot of time here. Stefen's already unloaded an insane amount of lore onto the table here. So even if we were able to get the pieces, I don't know that they would be fast enough to save us from double Daisy, double Arrow, Smee, Cinderella. It's quite the start here for Stefen. Who I believe is down to 1 card in hand or no cards in hand. I'm not sure, but looks like most of his hand is definitely on the table, if not all of it. So it'll be interesting to see here if Jose can stabilize. I mean, Fox is a great, great option here, but those 2 daisies being ready is going to keep them safe from Fox. And we're getting in here for potentially 8-9 lore this turn, Liam. That's not. Oh, and the dock off the top.
Oh, if that came off the top, what a great top deck. We're going to dump another daisy on the board. I mean, the only answer here is Under the Sea. We don't have enough to play it. And gosh, this is what an opening.
My goodness. I had a feeling we were going to be seeing a lot of aggro today.
It's always dock.
Yeah, it's always
dock, says the chat.
The last card is always dock, or the top card. Yeah, I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of aggro today, right? Between this and the dog variants of these kind of lists, there's just a lot of aggro, especially for these kind of first time events for a new meta. A lot of people are testing new cards and new strategies and new tricks. So sometimes hitting the ground running is the best policy. Just get underneath all these interesting cards that you're playing, all these beyond the horizons. That's all great and dandy, but can you deal with this 10 lore that I just placed into the table? So yeah, I anticipate us seeing a lot of these aggro decks climbing into the top today if they're not able to be answered. But Jose's in a tough spot here. Only 2 characters in play. One of them definitely not playing defense. And although I do see Cloud Kicker still in the hand there, it's going to be really rough for him to at 17, I think we'd probably already be going to the next game here. Yeah, I think that's the right play here.
Yep, just thinking about it, taking a look, possibly memorizing some of the cards over there, knowing what he's going into game 2. Yeah, man, what a fast start. I mean, this deck clearly wants to be aggressive anyway, but drawing into 2 daisies, 2 Mr. Arrows, like all of that,
and then more daisies after that,
and then more daisies, and then if that wasn't enough, you had the Cinderella, let the Storm Rage on combo just to set your opponent back just a little bit more. Yeah, that was a fast start from Stefen.
Yeah, for those asking what Bivens is on, he was on stream last round, and he was playing green, yellow, or emerald, amber discard. So that's what Zach's cooking today, but it's not the traditional list. You'll have to wait till later to see what he's cooking with, but it's definitely some spice in there. And for those of you who are just joining us while we're in between rounds here, just wanted to remind you, please scan that code that you see on your screen there. You will not regret it. It is a giveaway for a free case of Reign of Jafar. We will ship it to you no matter where you're at. No postage required, no payment required. It's just from us to you because we love to do things crazy here at SSG. So make sure you get your scan in on that. I will find out after this round when the drawing will be. But in the meantime, make sure you get your scan on, guys. Get that free case. And then send me the enchanted. And if it's Bambi, send it to Liam, please. Thanks. Please and thank you.
I'll take one. Yeah. I am buying that card eventually. I'm hoping the price goes down.
It's beautiful. It's so. Have you seen one in person yet?
No.
Oh, you have to. It's so good.
Maybe today.
It's so good. I'm sure there's one in the case somewhere. You have to take it. Talk to Devin. Maybe he'll give you a real good price. Some price you can't refuse.
People make me cry today in person.
But going into game 2 now, we have Jose that's going to be on the play. So what do you think, Liam? You think Jose will be able to weather the storm here with Stefen being on the draw?
Man, it's a lot easier to weather it on the draw than on the play, for sure. I mean, this deck has some answers. You don't play green, purple, or any deck in the meta without having some answer for aggro. Diggy Diggy Hole was so prevalent for a while, and then Churna Dog's also able to go out early. So, but it is. And here's the other thing I'll say. Very few hands are going to beat 2 or 3 daisies on
plus Cindy on one into storm,
followed by multiple daisies. That's unbeatable for almost any deck. But there are answers. Jose is going to want to get that kit on turn 3 if he can. Try to establish a well-statted character on turn 2 if possible. So there are some answers. You can also keep an Ursula and pick the Storm on turn 2. So there are certain cards you're looking for to try to blunt the momentum here. And so I think this is definitely doable.
I also saw Peter Pan in the hand, which is another rush that would allow us to kind of tick off some of these characters and potentially Iago. We have seen those cards paired together quite often. So if he is able to get an Iago online with rush, that could be something that could potentially combat a lot of Stefen's board if he doesn't go too wide. But unfortunately, with great power comes great responsibility, because if that Iago is hit by a storm or a raging fire, he will be vanishing instantly. So, it's going to be coming down to a lot of who's got what here. Obviously, Jose on the play here, so he's going to get us started off as we ink a card.
Is
And
it
is that a
goat?
pass?
Inkwell. Oh yeah,
Ooh,
pass not great.
an ink pass.
Followed by a daisy. That's okay.
Oof.
We're okay. Obviously not threatening that storm there, but you didn't have a card anyway, so it's not bad. But we are going to play the Ursula, or no, we're going to play the
Ooh,
Flynn.
Flynn Rider.
Okay.
Okay, I like
I
that.
thought we might try to pick, but without the card to sing, like I guess it makes more sense to establish yourself as the beatdown. And that is one way around this too. You could play the
Oof.
control route, or the Amber deck here can be the aggressive deck. You risk running into some of the control answers over on the other side, like the storms, but you have Merfolk, you have Flynn Riders, you have other cards. If you can be the beatdown and force Stefen into the control role
Mm.
and get yourself into the mid and end game, you stand a lot better chance. And it looks like that's the route that Jose may be considering here.
For sure, for sure. And I love seeing Flynn Rider making his return. I've seen
I love this
a
card.
lot of players like Artabax, a very well known Emerald Amethyst player who's been experimenting with Flynn Rider again. Definitely was him and Cusco, I think, were my favorite set one cards.
Like mine too.
Yeah, they were just so good, so timeless, and I love seeing. I don't know that we'll see Cusco come back anytime soon, but I do love that Flynn Rider still hanging in there. And I think this is a solid 2-drop here where we can get some lore, potentially attack the hand of Stefen. But unfortunately, Stefen does have that daisy, and on the first quest, I don't know if you noticed, he hit wrong lever off the top. So Jose did not get that wrong lever added to hand, which is potential removal. So that is a little sad that that Jose was not able to claim a new card off that daisy quest, but he's still going to get his turn back here and deciding. We know he has click. I almost said clit, kit cloud kicker. And yeah, he's going to be targeting the daisy most likely here to send her back, considering that she is uninkable. So it's hilarious. We got to move the QR code. He's getting Mike Wazowski right now. Yeah, he's getting Mike Wazowski at the moment. But we will get in there for 2 with the Flynn Rider, which is great. And it's going to be a big decision here if Stefen wants to combat that, or if he.
Okay, there it
never
is.
mind. Oh,
Fox is the classic answer to a daisy. Fox on
that's-
turn 3 will bounce that Flynn back, get the lore out of it, remove that daisy, and what a great answer.
That is perfect. That is perfect. Yeah, that's definitely what you want to be seeing in the face of a daisy. Fox answers it so cleanly and then sticks around potentially to provide her value for another turn here. So great play from Jose here, but the aggression is not stopping from Stefen. He does not know that he's on the play, or he's on the draw here, as he does his best play impression and plays this lady, which we're getting to see for the first time. This card has been getting a lot of hype, Liam, and we can see the power here as it puts in a piglet for free. And provides its own 2 lore on it. It's just an absolutely absurd card.
Yeah, fantastic card. Family Dog, delightful name there. You're right. It is one that was really, really hyped. This is our first time seeing it today. It slots into a lot of different decks very nicely, enabling you to cheat out a card cost 2 or less. And I'm willing to bet we're going to see it around for quite some time. But yeah, now all of a sudden going wide again. We talked about the challenge of a wide board for anybody playing Amethyst Emerald, and Stefen hoping to go that route here.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And we will see Cloud Kicker. We definitely don't want to send back the lady.
That lady, right?
Yeah, we definitely don't want to see the lady go back, but we will send back the Piglet, which will save us some lore for sure. And now we have ourselves a nice 2/2 body here that can challenge into this lady, potentially sing us a song next turn if we needed to sing a Friends or something. So overall, Cloud Kicker, really, really solid option here. However, we got to get in the driver's seat at some point. Jose still playing defense right now on the play, forced to just play defense.
Oh, there she is again.
Oh my God, the dogs are out.
Family dogs love company, and now we have a pack of them there.
Ooh,
bringing out a piglet.
Piglet's back, and Daisy also back to the party.
There's that wide board. Stefan solidly in the beatdown role.
Yep, and Stefen questing obviously with the lady that's been around, even though it's a different copy of the card. But yeah, taking that 2 lore is amazing. I'm so surprised that card quest for 2. I thought for sure it would quest for 1, but 2 is better than 1 for sure. But yeah, we're passing it back over to Jose now. And this, what do you think here? I mean, it's looking pretty one-sided at the moment, Liam. I'm not sure if Jose is going to have what it takes to get back in here, but we do. There you go. Some friends.
Sing friends, look for answers. Giving up that challenge there. So we'll see what we have available. I mean, there are answers. You can start, if we haven't inked this turn, I think we have. You still have an Elsa that can come down and clean some stuff up.
Sure. And Pan.
There we go. Going to clean up that lady. So that's why we forewent that challenge.
For sure.
Leaving 5 lore on the board. So still okay. And Stefen's hand, I haven't seen it, but he hasn't hit any card draws. He's probably getting pretty low. I think 1 card there.
Right. And Stefen's at 6. So that's a safe number, right? That's a number that we're not super terrified of yet. We could still kind of do our thing before we have to worry about panic. So yeah, Jose right now just kind of setting up. This Piglet is going to get in for 3 this turn, which is going to be kind of painful. But I think Jose, if he could just weather this storm, as you mentioned, Stefan getting a little low on cards at hand. But you already know it's going to be Doc off the top. This
Right,
is how it
Doc
goes.
or the Rapunzel. But we do see what he has in hand. He has the penny in hand there,
Mm.
which is a fun card from last set, I think. And then let the Storm Rage on for a little bit of control. So if we're looking for other answers, we can remove a threat, draw a card. But Stefan's, definitely thinking about now control versus, aggro. Do I push my lore total, get within striking distance, or, do a little bit of control card draw?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we do.
Yeah, he's thinking through his options here. I mean, Storm can potentially take out this Flynn Rider or the Pan. I mean, Pan might be more problematic. Yeah, he
Yep,
does
there it is.
decide the Pan. We don't have as many options to deal with the evasives, right? I mean, at least the Flynn Rider he could always crash into, but I think it's a good decision
Another
here.
Daisy.
Yeah, guys, Daisy's just floating to the top here for Stefan, as we've seen quite a few amount of copies since the games have started here. And I'm sure Jose is not enjoying Daisy here. Oh, we get ourselves a
We
little
do get the
genie.
genie. I mean, great card to have, but it's not aggressive. It's not control. It's definitely, but best to get. Now it's off the top of the deck, so that unlocked whatever he drew afterwards.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, Jose spent almost every turn trying to deal with Stefan's board, and is still just getting absolutely pressured into up against the wall here. I'm really not sure, what he'd be able to do here. I mean, we saw Pan come down, got immediately removed. This Piglet definitely needs to go, but there's just so much stuff.
Really need a Fox. I mean, to clean up. I mean, we definitely need to clean up that Piglet. That's 3 lore. A Fox would have been nice. I don't know if we have it. We do have another
6,
Pan.
Yeah.
So we can clean up. I mean, so we can clean up a couple cards here. We have the Pan Shadowfinder with Rush. The problem is you're going to spend your whole turn doing it, lose a couple characters. You'll leave those daisies behind, which is another 4 lore going up to 17. And then you hope to draw into a Fox. And so the other thing is, Daisy will give you a little bit more. Oh, you do have a Fox in hand. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So he's not totally out of the waters here, but Stefan's still putting a lot of pressure. Oh, he's choosing a quest here.
Okay, because we need to. So he's saying I'm going to bounce that.
All right. Interesting.
Let's see.
I think I'm
So
okay. Pan. Okay.
Challenge the Piglet.
Okay. Do we have Are we inked yet? Can we ink Fox?
I'm sure that we can still do that. I'm not sure we would have given up that play.
Yeah, ink. Okay, so he's gonna ink
a crab into the Fox.
Okay, get back the kit. I like the heads up play here. He's got to keep that Cloud Kicker in hand just in case he is forced to bounce something next turn that's unexerted or readied rather.
Yep.
So that's a good play there from Jose. I do like that heads up play there. But as for now, this Daisy is gonna get to quest again, and we got 4 more lore coming in for Stefan, which is it's gonna be up to 17. You have Rapunzel in hand, and what's the other? Penny and Rapunzel?
Penny is the other one. We? Oh, we did draw the.
Putting resist on this Daisy could be pretty good if we wanted to go that route, considering that it would, need double attacks to take it out.
It's just a lot of lines available here because you have the resist route. You also have the Rapunzel that you just drew into. So we could quest, go to 17 striking distance, or get a few more cards. So we do have the penny. It's going to give resist there.
Ooh, but now this Daisy could attack into Fox if she really wanted to, because she has the resist. Carry the 3 damage. If we had the ink for it, it would be really cool.
Great play.
That would have been really cool. But yeah, no, unfortunately, we can't do it all. Ooh, that is a goat. So
again, not a great draw, but you clear it off the top for next turn.
Yeah, well, we will get in there for 2 more.
And so definitely going the aggressive route here.
Yeah, and now this Daisy is going to keep that resist till next turn. So Fox is no longer a clean trade. You'd have to send 2 characters in, and this Flynn Rider is not going to deal any damage to the Daisy. So you would have to send both the Fox and the Pan into Daisy in order to remove her, and that's not even including the other characters that are currently hanging out on the board. So definitely going to be tough. Let me see here. So we have in hand. Do we have any more rush stuff? I see the goats. It's a little hard to see.
Yeah, you all can see better than we can the hand, I'm sure, but I don't see any other rush characters.
Yeah, kit is going to be good, but
we can use the kit. We can draw a few cards in a pinch, but Yeah, I mean, we have to clean up at least 3, or at least 2 characters here.
Mm,
Genie comes down. We'll draw a card.
mm.
Sets us up for next turn, but
Yeah,
it's a tough spot.
it's being at 17 is this is it's a tough pickle for Jose to get out of here. Okay, you're
We'll
gonna
send the
bounce
Daisy
this
back.
back. Okay, I mean he is developing a pretty big board here, and he's slowly chipping away. But will Stefen be able to sneak in?
Yeah, and I will say, so note that the Peter Pan Shadowfinder does give evasive characters rush.
Yeah.
So the Genie able to challenge in there.
Very
We've
good.
cleaned up 2 characters. Now we have the Penny left. Now, again, we're not completely out of the woods. There are plenty of cards which can deal with ready characters. There's the Kits, of course. We've seen Kit bounce around. You also have Elsa, which can come down and exert ready characters, enabling you to challenge into them. We'll see the Daisy back again, and Rapunzel. And Stefan is saying here, you need to answer everything.
Yeah.
And
I'm
so
gonna go to 19, and you do the rest.
there are answers. I think we still have friends, so we can sing that, draw a couple extra cards. But this is going to be a tough spot. Let's see if we have it.
Definitely.
I mean, you can get to a point here. We've dumped the Rapunzel. We can get to the point here, if Jose manages to draw into the cards that he needs, where he's forced Stefan into top deck mode with an empty board, and then all Jose has to do is answer a threat each turn. And with a card draw you have in Amethyst, it's possible to come back from this. Man, let's see.
It's tough. Yeah, I mean, Jose's definitely not out of the waters yet. I mean, if we could find a way to bounce this kit over and over again, we could potentially start, bouncing Stefan's threats away. But in the meantime, we're going to need an Elsa.
We do have the Elsa.
Yep,
and sending the friends into the Inkwell hurts, but clearly we needed all of that. So we'll exert the Daisy here, and then looks like we're going to bounce the Rapunzel. You hate to do it, but
great play, though.
If you have an empty board, that Rapunzel's not super threatening anyway and expensive to drop out there. So there we go. We did have the answer. Exert that. Daisy challenge into it with the Fox. We have to answer the Penny. Let's see what we...
Oh my goodness. I did not expect this. I'll be honest, Liam. This is definitely I love the resilience from Jose. He says, I'm not scooping. We're gonna take it from me. And Stefan's at 19, but 19 is not 20. And Jose is gonna turn a lot of stuff sideways and pretty much present himself lethal or lethal, if you will, for the next turn.
I can't say that word.
I know it's
I can't say that word.
I know. I feel weird every time I say it.
Get out of here.
I did commentary for ICL one time, and Luke is like in the monitor, and I'm like speaking. He's like Lorthal out of nowhere. I'm just like, oh, Lorthal.
Well, look at this. There was a fist bump and a scoop, and I think that was a game. Wow. Came back from that. That was good. So dropping a ton of lore on the board, forcing Stefan then to answer, and had no answers. One thing I was going to mention, it's probably not in this build, but Amber did get a card that gives you a little bit of reach, and I'm blanking on it. Chat's going to let me know, but I think if you sang a song this turn, you play this card, and it gives you 1 lore. And so...
if you sang a song, you play this card. I know there's a madrigal that if you play it on turn 1, you can reveal a song and it gains you a lore.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Yeah, it's a 1-drop. That might be what you're talking about.
Yeah, I guess that's probably it. So there are cards that give you a little bit of reach, but not really much, and this deck's probably not running them. So at that point, Stefan having to answer a threat every turn, and
for sure. And we have Mo in the chat saying hello, Liam.
Yeah,
no hello Skinner, just Liam.
That's right.
He's a popular guy.
Somebody tagged him and told him I shouted him out here earlier. So that's what it is. I mentioned probably, I don't know. I mentioned we were talking about Sapphire Emerald, and I was like, Mo Shamblin, world's qualifier, tried so hard to break those colors last set.
I think this set might be the one. I think it's been the new one.
So if somebody breaks it, Mo is a player to watch. Probably the one who's going to crack that nut eventually.
I want to see his jeweled collar deck when it exists one day.
Right.
That card really interests me, and I think it has especially with the new go-go that can also let it go something when it shifts in. I think the color's got a lot of cool stuff. I just got to see if we can put the pieces together. And definitely excited for a world post rotation, right? I think there's going to be so many new archetypes and things that we can play. And I'm really excited to see the 2 different formats and how they differ from each other. I think it's going to be a big difference. Coming from games in the past where I've pretty much only known rotation my whole life, I could definitely say that it does switch the game up and keeps it fresh. Every little block feels like its own time and place in history. So yeah, I'm really excited for the changes coming. And right now we're playing with the most sets that we will ever play with before rotation, right? We have 8 full sets of cards to deal with here. So I think once we have a smaller card pool, definitely will be room for some more funk and some more some spice, if you will, in the decks.
Yeah,
But
I completely agree with you.
but we're getting ready here for game 3, and Jose will
Oh
not be
man,
on the play this time. Can you imagine that last game? Jose was on the play and still almost couldn't get out of there with Stefen putting all that stuff in play. But now Stefen gets to go first, and if I'm Jose, I'm scared, but I'm looking for all the same stuff I saw in my last game. Right, lots of foxes, lots of
yeah,
kits. And just pans, anything that can rush or stop Stefen from
yep.
questing. So going to be interesting to see if he's able to put it together here.
Yeah, two-step process here for Jose. Step one, don't let Stefan draw multiple daisies.
Sure. Yeah. Step one, cheat.
Yeah.
But all the daisies to the bottom of your opponent's deck.
But step two, there are certain cards you want to hit on curve to stand a chance here.
For
I
sure.
did see on that opening hand, Jose he had a 1-drop. He did have the Ursula as well if he kept it to pick the song on turn 2. If Stefan goes that route, the non-aggressive route, and then into the kit on turn 3. If we drew into a fox with a hand altar, we'll feel a lot better. On the other hand, though, as we talked about on Stefan's side, into this color combo, there are hands on the play that you just win.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Stefan drew into the multiple daisies. And I see the Smeed, 2 Smees.
Okay.
So we got the Mulan on turn 1.
We prefer Mulan to Cinderella. We'll take a Mulan. I think if we're Jose here, we're feeling good about this Mulan here. It's definitely not going to be able to threaten our 1-drop. So hopefully Jose is able to come up with a 1-drop in this game, but it looks like he does have a couple to choose from.
But look at the value of this card here. Doc is a card that you're not going to play for like 4 or 5 turns, maybe 6. Once your hand is empty, it's uninkable, and you do not want to dump your hand now. So it's not the best card to have. Mulan coming down, allowing you to cycle that card out of your hand and draw into something more useful, is incredibly impactful on turn 1.
Absolutely, yeah. I've seen some cool builds with this Mulan and the Simba, where you just essentially want to just play characters that draw a card early, and then you can Pleekly, which I know is another fun card that a lot of people aren't playing. You put them into the inkwell, they've already drawn their card, and then now you ramp straight into 5. And there's some powerful new 5-drops like Namari that are in the game. Even if you get all the way up to Vincenzo, who's a 7-cost card, that's really good. So I have seen some builds playing more of these Mulans and Simba cards that are able to draw and discard. And I think Mulan, obviously, a mainstay for these cards, and like you said, able to just get rid of your uninkables and fill to the hand when you might have double dock or something that's a little clunky. So great play, and we go ahead and add a Piglet to the table, and back over to Jose, who is likely not going to be able to answer this Piglet quite yet. He might be able to trade into this Mulan if he wants to lose his Pegasus. It's a trade he could think about, but
it's a trade. It's so interesting because Stefan's inviting that trade here because the Piglet represents extra lore. If 3 characters are on the table, Stefan clearly wants to be in the beatdown role. It's kind of inviting you to trade into that Mulan, saying, hey, you want to prevent Piglet from getting extra lore. You better take a look at this because Piglet's going to get plussed up on my turn. And but nevertheless, surviving the turn, now Stefan going to drop a 3rd character here, maybe a 4th character at the same time. Piglet is going to quest for 3 and 4 with that Mulan.
Right. And what's scary here is if he would have decided to take out the Mulan, we could just play a lady, right? And now lady plays something else for free, and now we have the 3 characters.
That's true.
And had that lady played a free prince, I think we would have been real happy with that to protect the Piglet here. But now it looks like we might not get a chance to get rid of that Mulan, as we have a 0/5 prince just blocking the way here.
Oh, it's so brutal in this matchup.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Your ideal removal on turn 3 or 4 is that fox, and now you have to devote multiple characters to that challenge.
Yep.
It's a rough card to see.
Absolutely.
Especially when it's guarding a Piglet.
Yeah, 0/5. That's quite the stat line. And the fact that you could play it off lady for free is even more crazy. I remember when we were playing Simba's, 2-ink, 2/3 bodyguard Simba. That card was so powerful for so long. And it's cool to see how far we've come. Now we have, these 0/5s that are quite the wall. And you can see Jose here figuring out, okay, maybe I could play a Cloud Kicker, bounce the Prince, but then we still can't crash into this Piglet. We don't have the power unless we want to send our whole board in. So either way, we're not in the greatest position, even if we do play the Cloud Kicker here. So Jose debating his options. We see he has Pan in hand. Even that will be enough damage. Pan is 2, and then Flynn and the Pegasus are 1. That's only 4. So this 5 damage is going to be really tough to come up with.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we do have the Fox, I think, in hand, which means we can bounce that, but we can take out the Prince if we want to. But having to spend your entire turn bouncing in, and you have to get rid of the Piglet too,
Right.
because even if you clear it up, Piglet's questing for another 3, and it's a lot to deal with. But there are tools available. We do have the kit, so we could bounce the Prince if we want and send both things into Piglet. But at some point, there do have the kit. It's going to bounce the Prince. Let's see how we choose to clean this up. Okay, we're going to trade.
We'll take our 2 lore.
Yep, and we're going to leave Piglet there all alone. Stefen, though, he's plenty of 1-drops in this deck, but you are starting to put after a little while some hand pressure on. I say that, but Stefen's with plenty of tools available.
He's got lots of cards in hand. We see one of them is a dock, which we assumed when we saw him pitch one earlier. We'll ink a Smee, and we will run back out the Prince back into bodyguard formation here, and we'll run a Smee as well, which does give us the magic number. Then we will get up for 3 more lore.
Piglet, the MVP this game so far.
He is sailing away.
Powerful little pirate. But now choosing to play that kit instead of the Fox last turn to clear up that Prince. Now we're in a scenario where you can play the Fox, bounce the kit, have it available again.
Yep.
So now we can trade in. But again, you're going to leave that Piglet standing, which does not feel good at all.
You have to use all your resources on that Prince. So the Piglet just, he's being the best bodyguard he can be right now for sure. Piglet is safe and sound with Prince here. And you can see Jose just trying to put the pieces together. If I bounce this and do this, can I get enough? But it feels like it's just so hard to get rid of Piglet and Prince. It might just be one or the other. So we could, maybe play a cloud kicker and hit the Piglet potentially. Would that be something that maybe is an option? But I just don't know. You can see him deciding, okay, we're going to take 2 damage in here. Okay.
So it looks like we are going to bounce. We'll
There's
get that
Fox
back. We're going to
get rid of that once and
deal
for
with
all.
that. Get rid of that problem. We will leave the Piglet up. There's not enough to do anything else with. Quest up to 5. Now that we've cleaned up that bodyguard, though, perhaps next turn we have that kit in hand. We have the Fox available on the board. We can do some more damage. You're just hoping that Stefen can't, drop 3 characters this turn, or another Prince or a high bodyguard character.
For sure.
We are going to ink Friends.
Oh, send it back over, and 5 lore incoming, more than likely here, as we draw. And looks like another Piglet. It might be a Piglet. Looks like a shape of a Piglet. I think it's a Piglet and some other goodies there in the hand. We could drop the second Piglet if we so choose, which we know how hard the first one was to deal with. So might be problematic for Jose, but I see Jose got he's got kit in hand, so he can bounce potentially a character next turn, probably the Piglet if I had to guess, unless he decides to run in the Fox. So we'll see, but we're not gonna get to see that until Stefen gets 5 more lore here. Ooh, there's the other Piglet, which Jose has potentially the dock.
2 characters with the dock at the right time. I don't think we discarded anything. Did we manage to hit that right?
No, we did it perfect.
That's painful when you're playing against this deck. There's 2 ways to draw cards. Generally, it's the Piglet and the Rapunzel, and I'm sorry, the dock and the Rapunzel. And if your opponent can hit those, especially if you can chain docks, that's always brutal. And he did draw into the Rapunzel, so
yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, Jose's got a good turn next turn where he's able to, Fox and Kit. He could do some stuff next turn, but in the meantime, Stefen most likely going to get in here for 5 more lore. And I know right now Stefen's thinking, okay, I don't want to lose stuff for free to this Fox, but I think you just got to go for it, right? I think we just got to get the lore in there, take us up to 13.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a scenario where you leave things up and try to get the full lore closeout, or at least within striking distance. But I think you're right. I think there's a right call. Go for it. Put yourself up to 13. Force Jose to have the answers. The one day I will highlight again or mention again, the one reason this deck generally loses is because it runs out of gas. And so if you do not hit Doc or Rapunzel in the mid game to kind of refill your hand, eventually you're into top deck mode. Your opponents gain control of the board and you're out.
Yep.
So drawing into that Doc at that point in the game is so critical to keeping this going.
And this is the first game we don't see 10 daisies in play, right? This
Right.
is the first game where, Piglets are definitely doing some heavy lifting, but It's good that, good for Jose that we don't have all these piglets, but we will take out
Look at
both
that
these
Elsa, though.
piglets.
What a draw. I mean, if we drew into that Elsa, that is a fantastic top deck. Exerting the piglet, challenging into it. Now we have the
Oh,
fox and the Elsa on the board. All of a sudden, things feel a little bit better.
yep.
A little bit better. And so, unfortunately, well, no, I mean, look, there's nothing much to challenge into. You can challenge into the Flynn to get a damage on the Smee and then use the Rapunzel. So there is that.
And Flynn's been quietly questing here. Stefan's so focused on trying to get in there, get to 20. But this, Jose every turn has been getting two, getting two, getting two. And that Flynn is like just inconspicuous right now. He's just kind of hanging out, and, out of sight, out of mind. But he's slowly clocking up the lore for Jose as well. Although Jose's not at 13, he's still getting his lore in with Flynn. And if he is able to turn the corner here, he could potentially close the game out rather quickly.
It's a great point because oftentimes you feel there's a dichotomy in TCGs where you feel like you're either the beatdown or the control player, and most of the time players feel like they occupy that role and are forced to do one or the other. And
Sure.
usually that's true. If your opponent is the beatdown, you are purely control. But you watch the best players, and they're always looking for the ways to squeeze out one or two lore.
And it's huge.
Huge, and oftentimes, it's an obvious play.
Mm-hmm.
In this scenario, though, there's plenty of turns where Jose could have used that Flynn to challenge into things.
Yeah, just a chip in.
Just to chip in,
yeah.
do some stuff. But has protected it and valued that quest here and there and managed to squeak up to 7. So there's a really good there's a scenario here if Jose draws into the other couple control cards he needs, perhaps another Elsa, where you watch the table swing just like it did in game 2, where all of a sudden, because of all that lore he gains control of the board and has game on board.
Oh,
So
interesting. He's put 1 damage into Flynn Rider.
Okay, so it looks like we're going to use that Rapunzel there instead of the Smee. There we go. We'll move that draw
Essentially
card.
just cycling a card, right? Because we're discarding one, then we're drawing one. So I'm essentially getting rid of a card we don't want for a card we might enjoy more. And there's the
you're drawing to the
Daisy.
Daisy. Not a terrible card to pick up here when you're at 13. At 15, after that quest for the Smee, Smee will take a damage here because there's no captain on the board. That could be relevant with Rapunzel's in the deck. And there we go.
Yeah, so I thought for sure this Doc would be taking out this Fox here, but Stefen says, no, I'm all gas, no brakes. He's just going to go sideways. And I don't hate this idea. I mean, we do have 15 lore on the board, or excuse me, 15 lore in the total, and we have 4 lore potentially next turn if he only deals with the exerted characters. So that'll put us to 19. But as we saw in game 1, or that game 2, 19 is not 20. So Jose still has an option here to crawl back in this game, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, you're right. It's an interesting sequence because you could have traded and reduced, Jose's board state just a little bit, but getting that extra card allows him to go wide. Stefen's saying, "Hey, look, I'm going to start dropping, ready characters, multiple ready characters if I can, every single turn, and force you to have the answer every single turn."
For sure.
Does not know that Jose is sitting with a cloud kicker in hand, so we have one of those answers already, able to delay things. And Jose just doing the math now, trying to figure out how to save as much as possible while getting rid of both those characters on board.
Yeah, I feel like Kit's really going to get his time to shine. I mean, he's always been a solid card, and I feel like a lot of decks have utilized him over the year. But I feel like this format is going to be a big one for him. I feel like there's so many threats that are 2 power or less that we need to take a little break sometimes, get a turn to kind of reset and breathe. And I think that he's going to be a big part of that strategy for anybody playing Emerald. And I also think Ursula is going to be a big factor in this game, or in this meta as well. So I think Emerald has a lot of weapons that are going to be potentially really good in this environment, and we see some of them here as Jose tries to stick around in this game and gets.
You blinked and you missed it there. Peter Pan
Yeah.
Shadow Thunder comes down and hits that Smee, cleaning that up.
Yeah, he takes it off the table altogether, so that's one less thing to worry about. And we see Jose just kind of putting the pieces together here. Okay, so if I do this, all right, we can bounce the Rapunzel.
Yeah, this is an interesting choice there. The Rapunzel a lot more expensive to play. It does give your opponent the benefit of being able to draw more cards, but that would force Stefen to take a turn off to challenge into something.
Sure.
So sending that back, it's a lot more expensive. And with the Daisy, at the very least, you get the benefit of a card in your hand. And some of your answers, a lot of your answers, are character-based removal with the foxes and the kit. So definitely, oftentimes, you think sending Rapunzel back to hand is a really, really feels bad play. But in this instance, probably
Plus,
the right one.
plus, what's he going to attack into? Right, he's going to maybe hit the Flynn
The
Rider,
Flynn.
which is one card,
Yep.
and you have to lose a card to do it. So
And,
it's not the end of the world.
and you'd rather have your opponent challenging into your Flynn than questing with that Daisy for sure.
Absolutely, I think that's a great point. And I obviously cannot attack this Elsa since she is evasive. So although you are presenting an opportunity for Rapunzel, there's not much value to gain
Nope.
here. So that's really heads up from Jose, removing that fox from the table and just pretty much leaving him with just the scraps. As Stefen needs to come up with 5 more lore before Jose can close the door. We're up to 10 now, and this bridge is shortening little by little as Stefen is losing his lead here. He was up by a lot, and now it's a close game. So Stefen with only a few cards left in hand. We know one of them is Piglet. Okay, Piglet, Prince, and Rapunzel. Okay, so what can we do? I think Prince is probably pretty big here, right? We need to obviously Kit would be a big punish, but I don't know. I think we might have to play this Prince here and go for it.
Yeah, you're kind of out of answers. I mean, there's certainly different ways you could go about this. One is to establish that Rapunzel again, force your opponent to deal with it, or you have 19 lore sitting on the table, and then next turn go wide. But the problem is, as we pointed out again with Jose, so we're not going to do that. It looks like we're going to go wider here with the Prince coming down,
Yep.
not in bodyguard. So we're going to preserve that Prince, force Jose to have multiple answers for your ready characters, and present game on the board now, unless there's something to remove ready characters. So
yeah,
but
back to what you were talking about earlier. You were saying that some strategies, just leave your guys ready. Don't even worry about questing right away, and then just build up enough where you can kind of do it all in one go. And I think that's a great idea here. I think that you called it right on the head. And Stefen, considering here if he wants to, I mean, once you play the bodyguard in ready, I would imagine we're not questing. But he was deciding on it. Okay, so he is taking the quest.
So we are going to take the quest there, go up to 17 with the Daisy.
Okay, I don't hate it. Right,
I don't hate this line either, but look at that. Daisy getting a fox off the top of the deck for Jose. So if we didn't have answers before, we have an answer now.
Yep.
This is what a brutal top deck, because now you have what you need on the board to clean up that Prince just on board, and you can bounce something with the fox played again. I have to take a look at the ink. If you have 6 ink and you can bounce the Kit and then play the Kit on the Piglet, you can potentially wipe the board with that fox deck there. Oof.
Yeah, Kit is doing some heavy lifting here with the bouncing and getting rid of these piglets and these princes. Prince obviously huge defense, but Cloud Kicker doesn't really care about that. Cloud Kicker would be happy to get him out of the way here, and I think Jose has the tools to to dissect this turn. We're gonna have to see if he's able to navigate it, but Fox is definitely gonna be a good one here. And Jose, not only does he get the fox, but he gets to draw the extra card since the fox was off the daisy. So, one card deeper into the deck, potentially one other answer. So Jose really thinking about it here. Unfortunately, we don't have a view of the hand, so we're not able to see what else he's got. But even if he bounces on, how many ink do we? I hate black sleeves.
I do too. I think we have
it's just like a gap of
right, just a blob
just
there
a
for
black
us.
blob.
It's 5 or 6. The key number here for me is 6. If we have 6, that's enough to bounce Kit and play Kit, and so you get maximum value.
That would be best
out of
case
that card.
scenario, I think. Yeah,
and it looks like we do. We're splitting up 3 and 3. It looks like that's the line we're thinking of, because man, how impactful. I mean, this game at the end, we're gonna dissect it a little bit, but it comes down to some of the key removal at key times. I do think Jose may have this anyway with other. He may have been able to turn the corner, but that fox there is brutal. But that Elsa earlier. Like, this game may completely come down to that Elsa drawn on that turn.
Yep. Elsa's
like 4 or 5 turns ago.
Yeah, I remember when Elsa first came out, I had some non-believers that were like, she's good, but she does a lot of little things, but nothing like super well. But I don't think that's I couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, I've only seen Elsa do exerting up, and we know this from previous sets where we had, Pinocchio and all these other cards that would exert something. Exerting a character in this game is very powerful effect. I mean, just allowing yourself to choose when you're going to combat something is very powerful. And Elsa having the rush and the evasive is just a perfect combination here. And she remains a staple. And we're even getting a nice new one in the collector box coming out soon. So that's
true.
That's a really cool one too. I'm sure all the Amethyst players will be picking up their play sets of those boxes. So looking forward to that as well.
And here's that line we talked about, everything into the Prince. We got the fox. The fox is going to not take the Kit. Instead, we're going to take back the Elsa.
Interesting.
Leaving that Piglet up. Do we have another Kit in hand, perhaps?
Oh, that would be Oh,
Or another removal? No, it is
oh,
wrong
wrong lever. Goes to
lever.
hand though. Goes
Wrong lever goes to hand. Same with
which
the
is still
kit.
great. It's an Igable Mother Knows Best. I'm happy with that.
That's
Right?
true.
That is great.
So it's an interesting choice here. So you have the choice to have. Well, now we have the Elsa in hand. So that way, last turn, if you bounce the kit, you play the kit. We don't. Of course, we didn't know got
Right.
the wrong lever.
Sure.
But now you've maintained that Elsa in hand. So you're able to exert anything that Stefen plays and make it susceptible to that fox. So man, what a great turn there. And that fox, what a draw.
That fox is huge. It's just almost as big, if not bigger, than that Elsa earlier. I mean, he's just drawing very good defense here against Stefan, and Stefan's right there, 17, and I'm sure he's like salivating, just like let me get over this finish line. But Jose just keeps on drawing the answers, and Stefan presenting a new threat here for lore, and this arrow does have resist, so damage is not going to cut it, at least not a small amount of damage. And let's see here.
Yeah, we'll see. We do have that also available. We'll see what else we have. By the way, I have to mention that the way that we did that is the only appropriate way to announce that card on stream. Wrong lever. You cannot say it any other way.
Oh, it's too
Take
good.
note.
I think that's one of my favorite cards of the new set, actually. So I'm happy to see it getting some representation here. And I think we'll be seeing a lot more of it. If Emerald Amethyst becomes more popular, I think we'll be seeing lots of wrong lever.
Wrong lever. So you made a point about the Elsa earlier that I want to mention as we see it played again, exerting the Rapunzel, making it susceptible to the Fox and the Elsa challenge. Not only is it a good card, but what it did is it gave Amethyst something that it didn't really have before, which is the ability to remove ready characters.
Yep.
Amethyst always had to find. There were some answers already. There's a Pinocchio that exerted characters, and there were some others, but they weren't super playable and required you to put them in your deck for the sole purpose of being that kind of answer. Elsa, not only is she exerts ready characters, but she has rush, and she does a lot for you, and it establishes a pretty good board presence on the other side. So it did a lot for these colors. It slotted in to a void that Amethyst had, and it was such a popular color already. So that I think is really what makes it so popular. You put Elsa in another color, and she's good, but she's not as powerful. She is paired with things like Fox and in these color combos.
Okay, and while we were gone here, we Stefan added another arrow to the board and chose not to quest with the first arrow. He's just saying, okay, just keep
it ready, keep it up.
Keep presenting him with an option. Like, can you deal with all this? Can you bounce your Cloud Kicker? And if you can't, I'm going to win the game. And Jose's desperately looking. He played this genie, drew himself a new card. You see him frantically going through the hand. He's taking his turn out here. We're not quitting yet. So maybe Jose has an answer here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, it's pull the lever. It's pull the lever.
Pull the lever.
Wrong lever.
Oh, 18. What a barn burner of a game that was. I was happy to see that one was a little closer. It felt like the first game, Stefan kind of just was in the driver's seat the whole time. Second game, amazing comeback from Jose. And third game, I thought it was going to be another repeat of getting that comeback. But Stefan closes the door, and we go on to the next round.
Yeah, DeCandia with the note in the chat. It's the wrong lever. Turns out the wrong lever was the right lever, but instead left with the wrong lever, which is pull the lever. And so
lever.
Stefan taking that, leveraging the wrong lever.
He leveraged that game.
Can I leverage this word?
I love it.
So yeah, fascinating there. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that game again.
Yeah,
several times.
That's definitely one to watch again.
There's so much to dissect on various turns there. But the one other note I want to make is Jose finishing with 18 lore.
Okay.
Just because we talked earlier in the game there about how important it is, especially when you feel like the control player against a heavy aggressive deck like that, to squeeze out that little bit of lore here and there.
Yep.
And Jose doing that managed to put himself within striking distance.
Yeah, he was right there.
I do want to go back and watch and see if he could have squeezed out one or two more quests and just squeezed out one or two more lore earlier in the game.
It's possible.
Because there perhaps are scenarios where we could have done that and closed out that game, but it was that close. What a great game.
Yeah, it was absolutely a great game. And I thought, honestly, it was going to be a little more one-sided when I saw that Stefan was on the play. I was like,
me too.
It's going to be another repeat of the first game. But no, I mean, you can see the powers that Emerald Amethyst has, and it is able to stick around. As long as the board doesn't get too crazy wide, it can pick apart the pieces and kind of crawl back in. But like you said earlier, it comes down to whether or not Stefen's able to refill. We did see Doc come into play. We did see Rapunzel come in for just a little bit, but she did draw a card. So that gas was able to kind of keep Stefen in the game. But I felt like if he wasn't able to get into those, it most likely would have eventually stopped. And, Jose might have been able to turn the corner there. But unfortunately, Stefen had pressure up until the last turn and, just made it a little too hard for Jose to navigate there. But had we see a bounce there, I mean, it would have been huge. He could have bounced the arrow again, and we could have seen that loop go on forever. So definitely was an open door for Jose, but unfortunately didn't find the pieces in the right time. And, wasn't able to put it away. But I thought it was a great performance from both players. Like you said, a game definitely worth watching again. I'm also interested to see if there's maybe some lore we could have snuck in there. I'm sure Jose will be watching this again and doing that same analysis. But overall, great showing, and I do hope that Jose continues to perform well, because I would love to see some Emerald Amethyst in the top 8. Some representation today. So that's the case.
Well, and especially this was traditional Emerald Amethyst. This was not the discard package that we've seen, around. So no Diablos and no Prince John, none of the discard cards.
No, just
really tempo. It's the same deck from last set with basically 2 new cards.
Yeah, that's it.
Pull the lever and wrong lever.
Turns out the deck was already good.
Yeah, right.
It just needed a couple pieces. Traditionally removal has been something that's tricky for that deck to deal with. I'm sure we've always had bounce, so some variants play discard or Bruno to try to get something off the table. But just having access to this new tool, before, if you wanted to play Mothers knows best, you got to squeeze in the uninkable count, and how am I going to fit this? And it gets a little clunky. But now we have 2 new tools that do everything the deck wants to do anyway. And I think that, wrong lever and pull the lever are going to be mainstays in the deck, and I think they make it way better. So I think it's going to be a really powerful deck in time. I think people are still figuring out the ratios. Are we playing 4 and 4 on the pull and on the lever, or are we doing 4 and 3? And, people are still going to be finding the mix there, but I think there's a lot of potential for those cards, and I think Emerald Amethyst has a real potential to be a very strong contender in this metagame.
I completely agree. One thing I will say, though, is enjoy it, folks, because there's this deck after rotation, after Fabled, probably very, very different.
Very different. I think a lot of decks will be very different.
Very different. The bounce package may or may not stay around. And Kid Cloud Kicker, we saw the he's like.
Sorry, we're like blurring in and out here.
We saw the power of Kit Cloud Kicker in this deck. I think we saw it played in this match, 12 times with all the different bounces. And it's one of the keys that you need to keep control of the game and to slow your opponent down when you're playing a heavy aggro deck like this.
Sure. That
card's an Inklands. It may not survive rotation. We may have Pull the Lever as kind of the bounce card that kind of fills that role, even though it doesn't do it as well because it doesn't give you a body. You can't bounce it. And then the other thing is foxes and all of the things that this color combo needs to control the board. Foxes, crabs, set 2, Floodborn. So it's going to lose potentially a lot of the core of this deck, and it's going to feel very different potentially on the other side of Fabled if we don't see certain key reprints.
Absolutely. And I think Fabled's going to change up the quota completely. I don't know if you've I know you've already seen the packaging for Fabled. I don't know if you saw the enhance on the side of the box, but it looks like Powerline is a Singer 9. But guess what? He's not Amber.
He's not Amber.
He's not an Amber card. So I think I don't know what else the card does. Obviously, it's blurry and stuff like that. But I think it's exciting to at least know that we're going to be getting Singers in different ink types. So maybe there's a quota change on which decks are Singer decks, which decks are not Singer decks. So. I'm just really excited in general. I think Madrigals, they've been pushing a lot to be like the Singer deck. I think rotation's just going to be a lot of fun. I'm just really excited. I know we're rating Jafar right now.
Yes,
we don't want to jump the gun too far, but I think it's just going to be a really exciting time for Lorcana, and I think both formats will benefit. I think Infinity format's still going to be a great format, and if that's the way that you enjoy playing the game, then I think it's still going to continue to be a great way to play the game. But I think having a new option will not only bring in new players, we have a new jumping on point. There'll be so many new reprints and things. So people that felt like they couldn't get their old cards because chapter 1 is impossible to find, all this stuff, that gives them a jumping on point, which I think is really important to keep building the community and getting new players to join the game. And it's a little bit less, overwhelming. We only have to deal with a few sets. I don't have to worry about getting cards from 9 different sets, so I think overall it's going to be a very positive impact on the game in general. And I think the decks that are going to come from it are going to be a total different. Like right now, we're in a point where every set, it's like, all right, what 1 or 2 cards can I add to my list? And that's fine, but I don't think that's as fun. It feels like we've had the same decks just getting upgrades for 9 sets. Now we're going to have whole new archetypes, whole new decks, whole new color combinations. I cross my fingers that Ruby Emerald will be good one day. I still
There's one here. Maybe it'll make the top cut. You'll all see it.
I think Undermine is a really cool card from the new set. It's a 2 ink inkable action that gives +2 to a character and your opponent discards a card, which I think is really cool. I mean, I know people don't like the discard stuff, but traditionally we have not seen Ruby Emerald have discard package, so it's a cool new tool that could potentially open up another archetype for them. So there's just a lot of pieces moving around right now. We don't know that Prince John will be reprinted, obviously, and kind of hope he doesn't. But I still think that discard will be an archetype that's going to exist. I think it'll be a little more fair if, like, I have to play a card, you lose a card, and then that's it. Instead of I play a card, you lose a card, and then I draw 7 cards. Like, that's not as fun. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of fun stuff coming with Fabled, and I think even Reign of Jafar, we have a lot to explore here.
Yes.
Again, this is the last set before rotation. This is our Worlds format, and I think the players, especially Zach Bivens, who's in attendance, are looking at this tournament very closely. To see, what people are cooking, what ideas are coming up, maybe adding some new ideas to his, his repertoire. And yeah, I think it's going to be like very important set for the history of Lorcana, I think, for sure.
I think so too. And I'm really excited to see the way this tournament plays out, who makes the top cut. And we've already seen some fantastic Lorcana so far.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've gotten some 3 great rounds. 3 great rounds already. We're going into 4 already. Wow, this day is flying by.
Are we ready? Are we going? We are. All right. Here's the thing. I'm going to rotate out because I need to get the power team back in here, and I'm going to go eat lunch because I started to fade a little bit at the end.
We are all the power team. It's our powers combined.
That's true.
It's our powers combined. There you go. Teamwork makes the dream work. There we go. There you go.
That's the better way to do it.
All right. Perfect.
I'll see you all in a little bit.
Enjoy your pastelitos if you have any out there, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you all for watching.
Of course. Thanks for having. Thanks for being here. Wow. Look at this. The royal Liam's such a classy guy. Yes. Such a class act.
I've been knighted. This is fantastic.
There's a reason why we fly him out here, guys. Liam is the creme de la creme.
The cream of the crop.
And we are ready to see him at the world stage. So excited. Liam was talking a little bit about the nerves and things that come with it, but we know he's a professional and he's going to do an incredible job. So we are so excited.
Am I making you uncomfortable?
Me? No, it wouldn't be the first or last time you've stood next to me like that just for no reason. Yeah, maybe we should just do standing commentary. Maybe we should just stand. When they cut back to the camera, we're both just standing in here like, hey, so what's up, Gabe? How'd it go out there?
Boy, oh boy, I saw that last match.
Was that a good match or what?
That daisy that triggered that fox was something, wasn't it?
That was a card.
That was, yeah. So that's a lesson in what we call sequencing, folks. We do the daisy first, and then we see what we're going to do afterwards.
Yeah, that was a card, but still, Stefen able to squeeze it out.
Yeah,
it got a little shaky there at the end. I mean, in game 2, Stefen went all the way up to 19.
Yeah, before
Jose could claw back in, and I thought it was going to be a repeat for a second there. I mean, Jose was finally getting his bearings. He was crawling up the lore total, but Stefen was able to find the pieces. When you're playing a deck that everything quests for 2. It comes to a point where you're just going to keep slamming guys until something sticks.
Yeah, you get to like a critical mass, and exactly, like we know we're bouncing, we know we're sending characters away. We've got Kit coming, we've got all kinds of stuff. We've got Elsa's tapping. Yes, J-Bomb, the casters are in fact identical twins. You may have just kissed me, so congratulations. I don't know whose is what.
Mine was full, so this is mine.
We're gonna not risk it. How's that?
Did you drink? Right over here? Dude, I only. Never mind.
Let's leave that for off camera because things
are getting a little bit weird. Identical twins. Not all bald people are twins. Okay, just because we're bald. Hold on, I get my glasses on too.
You are blind like me. You're not really wrong.
That'll add to the effect here.
Oh my god! Give me your hat. Where's your hat? Why did you not bring a hat today?
Because I clean. It's very rare that I have no stubble on my head because literally it grows back like 10 minutes after I shave it.
And folks, QR code over there.
Oh, yeah, right there, right above there. In that direction.
Right over there. Go ahead and scan that QR code.
Guys, for those of you just joining us, or for some reason if you were muted or you, I don't know, went to go eat a bagel, or I don't know what you were doing, but see that QR code that Gabe just swatted away from us? That's something that you should scan because it is a free giveaway. Guys, free. Hold on. I don't think they hear me. Guys, hold on.
Yeah, bring it in.
Guys.
Rock it in here.
Guys, have you ever gotten anything free in your life? No, right? Because nothing is free. But I'm going to give you something for free. It is a case
of Reign of Jafar. Yeah, we got to time that better. Look,
Yeah, we got to do like the dragon thing where you say I
am, and you're not even
Really?
pointing the camera in the right spot.